something upon his life. Yeah, he would have to grow his hair long. He wouldn't be allowed to dream. Nothing from the grape. He wouldn't be allowed to touch anything that was dead. What do we call that? Does anyone remember that? What we call that? The Nazarene vow? Is that right? No. The Nazareth? The Nazarite vow. That's correct. So this was a vow from the Old Testament. Did you have a question? Yeah, do you remember what the Nazarite vow was? That in Numbers chapter 6? I believe, I don't know, it wasn't the whole chapter, but yeah, I've got it up here, one of my slides. Yeah, 1 through 21, verses 1 through 21 of chapter 6 in Numbers. If you wanted to take a look at that. So the angel comes to them and tells them, and in the Bible we only have one account of someone taking that Nazarite vow. We have Samson. We have considered that John the Baptist might have taken that vow. Some people believe so, but we can't prove it. That he's definitely taken that vow, but it's probably, but for sure we have Samson as a person who's taken that vow. Now, Samson's case is a little bit different than what's outlined in Numbers chapter 6. What we see in chapter 6 is for a set specific time that someone would take on that. But for Samson, it was a lifetime that he would take this vow. And his parents both agreed to this and raised Samson in this way. And as he grew older, there were some amazing things that happened. We could see the power of God was on him. We didn't outline what exact specific things, but they knew that the power of God was on him. The hand of God was upon him. So at verse 25 we see, and the Spirit of the Lord began to move in that time in the camp of Dan. In chapter 14, we begin in verse 1. I want you to take a look and read this passage. And I want you to reflect on a possible problem that may arise here in this passage. can discuss this problem, or whether there was a problem at all. And Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. I signed Philistines like this with 2 P's on my body here. It's a different group of people. They weren't of Jewish descent. So he saw this woman and came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife. And his father and mother said unto him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, Hebrew people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? They have different beliefs. And Samson said unto his father, Get her for me, she pleaseth me well. Do we see a problem here? David Cox says yes. What's the problem here, David? I don't know, maybe I've jumped to conclusions, but I know that trouble will arise later. Yeah, you're right, trouble does arise in the future, the near future. What do we see as a major problem here in these 3 verses? Maybe she's looking at the outer beauty of a woman. I'm guilty of that too. I was looking, same thing with my wife. I looked at her physical beauty. Yeah, she was beauty on the inside as well. But is that wrong for me to look to her exterior or outside beauty? Okay, Ben Sprang. He hasn't showed that he's asked the Lord. He never asked the Lord about what? About his desire. That's a problem. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the Philistines, they worship idols. They're a complete different religion. They have a different belief system. Tom, he didn't listen to his parents' advice. Yeah, that's a problem. I missed what you said, George. Oh, that they're a different group of people. Perfect. I stole your train of thought, sorry. Okay. So Samson, was he raised knowing how to pray and how to have a relationship with the Lord? So yeah, in Jewish tradition, they were raised with these teachings, especially this couple. We know this because they met an angel. They were in awe, they worshipped the Lord. So yes, Samson would have known how to pray and be in a relationship with the Lord. The danger of these Philistines, these people who weren't Hebrews, is they might try to kill. Oh, wait, hold on. We're not going to spoil the story. Is there anything else? Samson says she pleaseth me well. This is lust, clearly. Just he's lusting over the thought of her. What bothers me the most, we all had good ideas here, you're all right, but what bothers me is the most is that he goes to his parents and says, go and get her for me. He doesn't come to them humbly and say, what do you think, and ask. He just says, go and get them. He's like, I've made this decision, go and get her for me. That's some kind of arrogance. You see the big-headedness in Samson. But and I, we all are looking at the negatives, but looking at verse 40 here. Don't read 5 and on, we're just looking at verse 4 here. So take a look. It states in verse 4, but his father and mother knew not that it was of the Lord. They knew it was not from the Lord. That he, Samson, sought an occasion against the Philistines. Excuse me. This is God. That he sought an occasion against the Philistines. For at that time the Philistines had dominion over Israel. So looking at this cycle of sin that Israel's gone through, let's review that cycle now. It goes from sin to suffering, supplication, and salvation. So with this cycle that Israel's been going through, God has always looked to their salvation and sent a person who would avenge this. And so God is looking to use Samson to avenge Israel for their salvation. And so we will see God use Samson in this relationship with this woman to avenge Israel. So yeah, the Philistines did not worship God, the true God. They worshiped false idols. And we'll see a name of one of their gods later. We'll talk about that in chapter 16 or 17. One of their false gods will be named then. Okay, Teddy Chang. Yes, so the Philistines, they came from 2 tribes. The Canaanites and the Asian, that were split, the 2 people that were split by the Asian Sea came together around that time and became the Philistines. So anyway, all this problem that arises, the Lord allows this problem to arise. Now, let me clarify. God does not want lust to exist. But God, seeing Samson having this lust, he knows that he can use it. And he's going to let his spirit be upon him, even though he's going through sin. He's going to use this for his glory, for the purpose of the Lord. I mean, you all might, if you disagree with that, then discuss it with God. It's not my decision. You might be smarter than I am, but that's what the Scripture tells us. So in verse 5, we see, then went Samson down, and his father and his mother, to Timnath, and came to the vineyards of Timnath. Okay, so hold on just a moment. I've got 3 things that I want to review. These 3 things as a Nazirite, as someone who's taken the Nazirite vow. What are these 3 things that we should abstain from? Not just wine, but anything that comes from the vine, any product of grapes. The second thing is to not touch anything dead. And the third thing would be not to cut his hair, to not put a razor upon his head. And so where is Samson now? He's in the vineyard. It doesn't say that he's eaten anything or consumed anything, but why would he even walk through a vineyard? I mean, you should separate yourself, keep yourself away from temptation. But anyway, he's gone through this vineyard, and behold, a young lion roared against him. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and he rent him as he would have rent a kid, and had nothing in his hand. I mean, like a goat, he broke this lion's neck from the jaws out. And he had nothing in his hand, meaning no sword, no brass knuckles, no weaponry in his hand. But he put this lion to death. But he told not his father or his mother what he had done. And so why wouldn't he have told his parents this detail? Yeah, so the Spirit of the Lord was on him, so why didn't he tell his parents what had happened with the lion? And tell them, Mom, Dad, this lion came up to me and I killed it, and I don't know where his parents were in this instance. He might have been walking upon it on his own, but the point, he's not supposed to touch anything dead. If he's put this lion to death, which means what? He's touched something dead. So he's broken one of these laws for sure, one of these rules of this vow for sure. Possibly another one with the vineyard, but he decides not to tell his parents. He doesn't want to feel the shame or feel the trouble. And he went down and talked with the woman, and she pleased Samson well. Samson really liked this woman. We see in verse 8, and after a time he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion. And behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. And he took thereof in his hands. He went inside the body of the lion. Again, the lion is dead, and his hand has gone inside it to grab this honey. To eat. And so his father went down unto the woman, and Samson made there a feast, for so he used the young men to do. He didn't tell his parents, again, this detail, because it would have broken that Nazarite vow. He didn't tell them where he got that honey from. And they had what was considered a wedding feast. That would have been the custom back then. And it came to pass, when they saw him, that they brought 30 companions to be with him. These weren't Samson's friends, but these, who were these 30 companions? They were Philistine men. They They would have known the bride. They would have known Samson's name, but they came to be with them. And Samson said unto them, I will now put forth a riddle unto you. If he was going to see if they could answer this riddle. If he can certainly declare it within the 7 days of the feast, and find it out, I will give you 30 sheets and 30 change of garments. So when we're talking about these sheets, it's not bed sheets. It's like they would have been wraps, like a robe. They would have used it as clothes in that area of the world to wrap themselves. And 30 change of garments, like shirts, pants, including this wrap. So one for each of these men. That's if they could answer this right. But if ye cannot declare it me, then shall ye give me 30 sheets and 30 change of garments. And they said unto him, Put forth thy riddle, that we may hear it. And here's the riddle. What's black and white and red? Oh, I'm just kidding. And he said unto them, Out of the ear came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness. He gave him this riddle. So let's hold on for just a moment. Do you know the answer to the question? To this riddle?
Yeah.
Who thinks they know the answer to this? What's the answer then?
Yeah.
What about the lion and the honey? Right, out of the eater. So what is the eater, the lion? Came forth meat. What kind of meat? The honey. And out of the strong. What's the strong? The lion. Came forth sweetness. And so the answer would be right. The lion and the honey. They don't know, they didn't know about what happened to Samson. You know, they're sitting there thinking, what comes out of the eater that came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness? And they could not in 3 days expound the riddle. And it came to pass on the 7th day. So they couldn't come up with this answer for 7 days. But then they said unto Samson's wife, Entice thy husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee in thy father's house. I mean, these Philistines, they threatened her. She's completely innocent. In my opinion, she is innocent. I mean, look at what it says here. Lest we burn thee in thy father's house with fire. You know, if you won't tell us, we're going to burn your house down and burn you alive. And Samson's wife wept before him and said, Thou dost but hate me, and lovest me not. She's begging to him, Thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and hast not told it me. And he said unto her, Behold, I have not told it my father nor my mother. Shall I tell it thee? It's mine. It's my riddle. It's my secret. And she wept before him the 7 days, while their feast lasted. Could you imagine? Could you enjoy that? If she was weeping, if your wife was weeping to you for 7 days? And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him. And she told the riddle to the children of her people. And the men of the city said unto him on the 7th day before the sun went down, What is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion? And he said unto them, If ye had not plowed with my heifer, ye had not found out my riddle. He knew that they had come to his wife and threatened her, extorted her. He knew that they had used his wife against him. And we see in verse 19, he got angry and did all these things. No, we don't see that. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him and took him down to Ashkelon and slew 30 men of them, took their spoil, gave change of garments unto them, which expounded the riddle. So I'm adding to this, I'm using my imagination. I imagine as Samson is killing these men and the blood soaked on him, the garments are being soaked in the blood of these men as well. And he gives these men who had extorted his wife these blood-stained garments. Why would he have killed 30 men? What's this mean? Nancy would have touched death again. His anger was kindled and went up to his father's house. Okay. Why would the Spirit of the Lord come upon him? That is a wonderful question. He asked the question, why is the Spirit of the Lord come upon him for this? What do we think? God has one purpose: to avenge, to judge, to avenge the Philistines, or to take revenge upon the Philistines. Samson, his life is kind of messy, but God can use that. Samson left in anger and went to his father's house, and he left his wife. You know, they had their wedding. They hadn't hadn't been official, they hadn't been wed yet. Samson took off before he was officially wed to her. But Samson's wife was given to his companion, whom he had used as his friend. So she was with another man during this time. Samson took off in a fit of rage. We're going to find out what happens next. I'm going to go ahead and pull up another slide. So Samson left, and this woman was left with a companion, not really a friend. And we see chapter 15 opening. But it came to pass within a while after, in the time of wheat harvest, that Samson visited his wife with a kid. And he said, she is being referred to his wife at this time. So in this verse where we see kid, what is kid? Who's the kid?
No.
Where did it go? So he visited his wife with a baby goat. What would be the reason for bringing a baby goat? Be a gift, a peace offering. Instead of flowers, today, if you were in trouble with your wife, you would bring your wife flowers. But back then, they didn't do that. They would bring a goat. I don't know exactly. But so he said, I will go to my wife into the chamber. So Samson is ready to go into his wife, into the chamber, into the bedroom. Which means, the bedroom. Samson is ready. What's this word I'm thinking of? To consummate. Once you've been married, then you get together. You consummate. Nowadays we call that a honeymoon. So Samson is ready for this. He brings the goat, comes, knocks on the door, rings the doorbell, and there's flashing in the living room. His father comes to the door. Samson puts the goat before him, and her father said, I verily thought that thou hadst utterly hated her. Her father would not suffer him to go in, that he refused. Therefore I gave her to thy companion. But he also says, is not her younger sister fairer than she? Take her, I pray thee, instead of her. And Samson said concerning him, now shall I be more blameless than the Philistines? Though I do them a displeasure. And what this means is sometimes you may have heard this phrase, is that I'm going to get even with somebody. Maybe someone tricks you or betrays you and you think, oh, I'm here to get even. And my dad taught me, you never get even, get ahead. I'm like, oh, that's bad advice, but Samson says, I'm not here, I'm not going to get even or get ahead. I'm going to do a displeasure. He does decide that he has to do something. Not something so horrible, but he does want to take some kind of revenge. I mean, this is really interesting, like when deaf people get in an argument, Samson, being a Hebrew, he's not following the Torah, the Jewish law for marriage. Because I thought in their culture, I guess I misunderstood the Philistines and their culture of marriage. So yeah, again, I'm going to reemphasize. Samson, did he want a Hebrew wife? No, he wanted this Philistine wife. And the reason for that, we don't really know, but God was willing to use this situation. And so Samson says, okay, I'm going to do something. I'm angry. I killed 30 men, and I'm upset again. So this is what Samson does. Samson went and caught 300 foxes. 300 foxes. You know what foxes like? I mean, they're hard to catch. They're hard to capture. I don't know how Samson did that. But he caught 300 foxes. And took firebrands and turned tail to tail and put a firebrand in the midst between the tails. And when he had set the brands on fire, he let them go into the standing corn of the Philistines and burnt up both the shocks and also the standing corn with the vineyards and the olives. He set all these foxes loose, 2 of them tied up each to set all their crops on fire. The vineyards, the olives, the corn. I've got a picture of what that might look like. This is terrible. You're laughing, David. What's up with that? Yeah, it is funny. I mean, this is. God allowed Samson to do this. So all these crops were set ablaze. The Philistines were wondering, where did this fire come from? We see in verse 6, Then the Philistines said, "Who hath done this?" And they answered, "Samson, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because he had taken his wife and given her to his companion." And the Philistines came up and burnt her and her father with fire, killing her and the father. The Philistines did that. This is sad. That father, from my perspective, he's innocent. Samson's wife, that father's daughter, was innocent as well. With all this disaster and chaos, Samson said unto them, "Though ye have done this, yet will I be avenged of you, and after that I will cease." You see how they go back and forth here with betraying each other until the wife is dead, the father is dead. And Samson says, "One more. I've got one more act against you that I'm going to do, and then I will cease." And so what he did was he smote them hip and thigh with great slaughter. What does that mean? Smote them hip and thigh. What is the meaning behind that? I assume, like with a club or something, he's taking out the legs of all the men. With a club, he's taking out their legs. Killed them all. And when he was done, he went down and dwelt in a cave, pretty much, in the top of the rock of Tom. He stayed there. He's outside of the town. He was in isolation. And then the next, wait till you come back next week. You'll see the end of the story. Yeah, it was possibly like a wooden club or a stick, like Fred Flintstone, he might have had a giant club. I don't know, something like that. Not a golf club, no. Not like George's clubs. Yeah, it might have been wooden. But all right, now I want to notice this and recognize the character of Samson here. So when I take a look at his life, we see this consistent behavior and problem with his heart. What do we see here? A temper, an anger, wrath, short temper. Yeah, like he was rebellious to his parents. Yeah, he definitely did not obey his parents. Very rebellious. He was more like, he fell in love with this woman, but they never, but he never really shared yes, Samson was a very lustful person. We don't see, and we'll see that further on in the story. Do we have anything else? Yeah, definitely in the flesh, yeah. Yeah, I had a picture of the fox up there. Yeah, that's me. That's a picture of me. That was an old picture of me. Yeah. A little different, but that was me. Yeah. It's a reenactment. Imagine those foxes running through this field, struggling to get away from each other. Okay, so I've got some emphasis here, and I want to emphasize this. So, can God use people that are messed up, that are in turmoil, that their lives don't look perfect? And I believe yes, and I also believe that God could have used Samson for more if Samson would have followed the Lord and listened to him. We haven't hit this later part of the story that is a sad, sad verse, and we might get to it next week. It's probably one of the saddest verses for me in the whole Bible. I mean, it really hits me. And Lord, please, I beg, don't allow me to behave like this, to turn out like this. It saddens me, but look at this life of Samson. Yeah, God uses him, but at the same time, if he would have surrendered his will to the Lord, I believe that God could use him much better. I mean, you look at today's situation, and there's a lot of divorce, and lack of communication in marriages. It's almost like what you see with Samson, where he didn't get a chance to get to know his wife. I mean, that might have been the case. I wasn't there. I mean, might have been a lack of communication between Samson and his wife. But let's pray. Our Father in heaven, thank you for your word. Thank you for the story of Samson. It saddens me, Lord, to see Samson, a strong man, yes, a prideful man, a proud man, arrogant man. Lord, I pray that we can look at this story and say, wow, yes, he had a lot of strength, but it was limited by his sin. I pray that, Lord, we don't limit ourselves by our sins. I pray that we are free in you and you use us